From his humble beginnings in Tupelo, Mississippi, to his unprecedented reign as the world's most heralded entertainer, here is Elvis Presley as he really was, an ambitious, talented young man who startled a generation with his uncompromising musical presence. In these ultra-rare interviews, Elvis speaks out for the first time on a wide variety of subjects, including his sudden rise to fame, the star-studded trappings of success, and his topsy-turvy personal life. Here is an important audio document to be treasured by anyone who calls himself a fan of the King.
That's alright, that's alright, that's alright, no mama, any way you do. My mama, she done told me, Papa done told me too, son, that guy you're fooling with, she ain't no good for you, and that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, no mama, any way you do. I'm leaving town, baby, leaving town for sure. Then you won't be bothering with me, hang around your door, but that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, no mama, any way you do. That's alright, that's alright. Town for sure, then you won't be bothering me, hang around your door, but that's alright, that's alright, that's alright, now mama, any way you do. That's alright, now mama, any way you do.
What must it be like to travel day after day, only to touch down in some anonymous town to answer the same old silly questions from the same old silly reporters, especially when you hold in your hand a brave new world of culture and self-expression? As the great original, Presley almost single-handedly created an art form so imperative that it formed the soundtrack to millions of people's lives ever since it first blew out of the dusty backwater of Tupelo, Mississippi. Here, then, is Elvis in Ottawa, Canada, a long, long time ago.
Now, what are some of the big things you've done with your money? Some of the things you've always wanted to do, and suddenly you've got the money to do them with?
Well, I've got a nice home, which is, I guess it's a desire of everybody to have a nice home. And I got cars and everything I've always wanted. When I was small, I used to see cars, real shiny cars and everything, and I said if I ever had any money, I was going to get my fill of cars.
How many cars have you got now, Elvis?
8.
Are they all Cadillacs?
No, so there's 4 of them's Cadillacs. One of them is a Lincoln Continental, and I got 3 little sports cars.
Now, do you mind my asking how much money you grossed last year?
About $1,200,000.
Have you any plans for getting married? With all that sort of money, I imagine a lot of girls will be out on the chase.
Well, I have no plans for getting married, and besides, if the girl is on the chase for that, well, she's on a wild goose chase, because, I can usually sense whether or not that's what they're after or not,
Yeah, now here in Ottawa, there's a situation which you've probably experienced elsewhere in your travels across the continent. The separate school board recently unanimously passed a motion in which they were going to encourage the parents and teachers to stay away from your show because they thought your singing was vulgar. No doubt you've run across these situations before, and what is your answer?
Well, yes, I've run across them before. I just wish the people would would stop judging a tree by its bark, or something they've heard, or something they've read, or something. They should come out to the show and judge it for themselves. And then if they still think it, well, just let them think it, because that's all I can do, you know. I certainly don't mean to be vulgar or suggestive, and I don't think I am.
That's all part of your performance, your technique.
That's just my way of expressing songs. You have to put on a show for people. You can't stand there like a statue.
Now, Elvis, you've watched people you've watched teenagers when they've been pretty excited. You've seen a lot of them when they've been very excited. What's your opinion of teenagers in North America? Have they lost a lot of their morals, or are they just the same as they've been lots of other times?
No, they haven't. They're growing up, you know, and they're having a nice time, and nobody's going to stop that. I mean, the only way they're going to stop that is for the United States to turn communist, and I don't think that'll ever happen. But you're not going to stop a group of kids and young people and everything from having a nice time because they only grow up once, and they're going to have a ball while they're growing up. I mean, I know I don't blame them, and I don't see why anybody else should.
A lot of your publicity, Elvis, is, I wouldn't say a lot of it, but some of it has been adverse. You know, I mean, the people in education are saying it's no good, and it's vulgar, and it's no good for the children, and they go crazy. Have you had any nice things said about you from adult groups in the States or in Canada?
Yes, sir, I've had quite a bit, but not as much as I have the bad stuff, though, I got to admit.
Now, your feeling is that your show is entertainment, and you go on to give them a show.
That's true. Well, I mean, there are people that like you, there are people that don't like you, regardless of what field you're in, regardless of what you do. There are going to be people that don't like you. I mean, even if you're perfect. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, I'm perfect, because no man is perfect. But there was only one perfect man, and that was Jesus Christ, and people didn't like him. You know, they killed him, and he couldn't understand why. I mean, if everybody liked the same thing, we'd all be driving the same car and married to the same woman, and it wouldn't work out, you know.
How about this question? Do you really think you have got a good voice, or do you think you've been successful primarily because of your stage technique?
It's a pretty tough question there. I have never thought I had a good voice. I just, I enjoy what I'm doing, you know. And I put my heart, soul, and body into it. But I guess one of the reasons the people have liked it, because it was a little something different.
But thank you, Elvis. It's a pleasure to have met the real thing.
Thank you very much.
Sit home all alone. If you can come around and at least please telephone. Don't be cruel, oh, that's true. Baby, if I made you mad, something I might have said, please just forgive my past. Future looks right ahead. Don't be cruel, oh, that's true. I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't stop thinking of me, but don't make me feel this way. Come on over here and love me. You know what I wanted you to say. Don't be cruel to all that's true. Why should we be apart? I really love you, baby. Cross my heart. Let's walk to the preacher. Let us say I do, and then you'll know you're happy, and then I'll know that I'll have you. Don't be cruel to all that's true. I don't want no other love, baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. Don't be cruel to all that's true. Don't be cruel to all that's true. I don't want no other love.
Every time we thought we put our finger on the true nature of the Presley magic, he jitterbugged himself out of range with an easy grace and elegance only the most unsophisticated and purest of souls possess. Often in these antique interviews, we can hear Presley's impatience with the monster he has created. It was almost as if with all his money and fame, he could maybe buy his way back to being the same unassuming country boy he first was. In this interview, Presley runs the gauntlet one more time with a journalist in New York.
So how do you like this traveling?
Well, sir, I like it a lot. In fact, I don't like to stay in one place very long.
What about your future plans, Elvis?
You mean as far as the music business? Or
Yes.
Well, everything's out so fast, I ain't had time to make many plans, but I just hope to continue making records and everything. Hope I can get some good material, so...
Well, do you think maybe the movies will occupy most of your time if you make...
No, sir, they won't occupy most of my time. I don't know.
You like traveling around the country?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, you know.
Well, do you like playing nightclubs, Elvis?
No, sir.
You don't?
I do not.
How did you ever start those long sideburns? You're starting a fad now.
Well, I've had them for 28 years.
28 years?
28 long years.
And you don't mind wearing them, huh?
No, I've had them ever since I was old enough to grow them.
What's your favorite song, Elvis?
Out of mine or
out of any song?
Don't Be Cruel is my favorite of mine. Now, of other records, I like My Prayer, probably.
And what is your biggest thrill that you've had so far?
Well, I've had quite a few of them. I've had quite a few.
Heartbreak Hotel, the first one?
Well, that was my biggest hit. That wasn't my biggest thrill, I don't guess. Of course, I hadn't seen the royalty check from it yet.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Happy, very much.
Oh, baby, baby, let me be your loving teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck, lead me anywhere, oh, let me be teddy bear. I don't want to be a tiger, tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion, lions ain't the kind you love and love. Just want to be your teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck, lead me anywhere, oh, let me be your teddy bear. Oh, baby, let me be around you every night. Run your fingers through my hair, cuddle me real tight, oh, let me be, oh, teddy bear. I don't want to be a tiger, tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion, lions ain't the kind you love and love. Just want to be your teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck, lead me anywhere, oh, let me be, oh, teddy bear. Oh, let me